Hello, Underground and parents. Thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to be talking about identity once again. And how I would define identity is really, it's the way that you view yourself. And so the reason why we're doing this series, the reason why I feel like this is so important is because we want to have an appropriate view of ourselves. We want to see ourselves the way that God sees us. If we start believing anything else, we're essentially entertaining a lie. And we don't have any time for that. So we want to understand how it is that God sees us, recognize that as truth, and then believe that about ourselves. This is why this series and just focusing on identity is so important. So we're going to kind of go off the coattails of talking about orphan spirit. Now, I heard this story, and I think this is a really amazing story. It shows how important it is how you identify, how you view yourself, and how you frame the way that you view yourself, because everyone has positive traits about them and negative traits about them. Now, what are you going to focus on? This girl focused on something amazing. So the story is about a girl, and this is a true story, a girl who was adopted, and she was being teased at school. Haha, your parents didn't want you, or something like that. As despicable as that might be, some kids are mean that way. So how did she respond? She responded in arguably the most amazing way that she could. She said, "My parents chose me. They went out of the way, they sought after me, and they chose me. Your parents got stuck with you, but I was chosen." And it just goes to show you that you don't have to have orphan spirit. You can choose to focus on the good things. And I think that an amazing thing to focus on is that you have been chosen. God chose you. And He didn't do it flippantly. He didn't do it randomly. He did it intentionally, thoughtfully, and it brings Him great delight to know that you are His. Think about any extravagant purchase you want to make. If you're going to be buying a car, or some of our students are into photography, so you're going to be buying a camera. You're not just going to randomly buy something that you see in some store or Walmart or whatever. You want to get something nice. You're making an investment here. And you want it to be something that is going to appreciate and value. It's going to serve you well, and you're going to do research. You're going to look into it. You're going to find out all these different things about it, and and you're going to invest wisely. Now, you can kind of tell the value of something based off the price that it costs, and also what it's willing to cost you. Now, if sticking with photography, if you're a teenager and you really like photography, and you save and you save and you save and you invest every single penny that you have into getting the camera that you want, getting the microphone, getting the computer system, you invest it all into that. Man, that says what the value is of that for you, right? What is it worth to you? It's worth a lot because you were willing to go bankrupt for it. Your value is determined by a very similar thing. Jesus didn't skimp out. He didn't try to get a bargain. He went all in. He went all in to buy you back. Everything He had went into purchasing you from sin. Heaven went bankrupt to buy you back. Your value was determined by the price that was paid for you, and the ultimate price was paid for you. We talked last week about masterpiece, and I think that's how Jesus sees you. He sees you as a masterpiece. Now, there's this awesome story, I believe it's in Matthew, about the pearl of great value. Now, I'm going to put a slight spin on it. What if the pearl was you? So the story of the pearl of great value is that this man is searching he happens upon this amazing and beautiful pearl in a field. So he finds out where the field was. He invests everything he has into getting that pearl. What if that pearl was you? And that's what God did to purchase you back. Well, that's the case, because that is the value that he has for you. That is how highly he thinks about you, is that he invested it all to buy you back. Now, we are chosen. Remember the girl at the start that we were talking about? We are chosen. But we can still live as orphans if we don't remember who we are, who our Father is. We need to remember, and we need to live differently. There's another story about a girl who was adopted, and one night her new parents, who loved her very dearly and provided for her every single time, heard some ruffling upstairs, or downstairs. So they came down and they saw her rifling through the garbage, trying to find scraps of food, because at her previous place she didn't have those needs met, and she couldn't live with that faith that her next meal was coming. Probably the devil was whispering to her, they don't love you, they're not going to provide for you. Now, every time we listen to the devil, it's called fear. And every time we listen to Jesus, it's called faith. We have a choice. He has not left us as orphans. He wants to be our heavenly Father. And whatever your earthly father was like, he wants to be that perfect father. He wants to redeem the version of father that you have had. That's the heavenly Father that we have. Now, we can make the choice. Are we going to continue to try to feed on garbage? Or are we going to trust that our heavenly Father is going to provide for us? Now, I love 1 Peter 2 verse 9, because it shows us that he takes us from somewhere to somewhere else. And it said, but you are, and I'm going to try to remember this, so if I get it wrong, don't get mad, but you are a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. The reason why God made this investment, this is Josh's thought, and it's a good one. The reason why God made this investment is because he knows that you're a masterpiece. He knows what it's like when you go from darkness into light. He made this investment because he knows what you're worth. He knows what you're capable of. So we have discussion questions after this, and I want to encourage you to partake in it with your household or doing some devotions about it.